Welcome back. Today we're doing a deep dive into, well, a really strange and compelling source.
It's a wild one.
It really is. It's this memoir from an artist who was, a genius at surviving in the physical wilderness.
Completely.
But his practical life just falls apart the second he runs into the supernatural. And that's our paradox mission for today.
Exactly. We're looking at this chapter. It's called The Days of Starting Stone Copper Sculpture Painting Business.
Right.
And it details the life of this artist who invents this totally unique art form. But his home life was so chaotic, he basically chose exile.
Okay, so let's start there. The art. Stone copper sculpture painting. What even is that?
Well, he basically invented it. He pulled from everything he knew. Carpentry, construction materials, paint, chemistry, all of it.
So it wasn't just, paint on a canvas.
Not at all. It was this layered sculptural thing. It blended metal and mineral textures. That's why he claimed it was unique in the world.
Which speaks to this guy's technical skill, right? He gets inspired by a lotus pond at 228 Park and creates the piece Summer Sound.
Exactly. But that professional creativity just hits a brick wall at home.
Yeah, when he relocates back to Shazy, the source says his wife brings in 6 kids to live in his rented studio.
His kids and relatives' kids. And suddenly, this workspace becomes what the memoir calls a deafening commotion.
He couldn't work?
He couldn't do anything. His wife was often out gambling, so he's trapped. It was either his art or, basic caregiving. Couldn't do both.
So his solution, to just retreat to Inner Shuangqi with $3,000 and a fishing rod, it sounds less like chaos management and more like just abandoning everything.
It sounds extreme, for sure, but I think it was calculated. This was his last-ditch effort to create a boundary.
A physical one.
A very physical one. He's this sort of urban Robinson Crusoe. He builds a simple hut from bamboo and trees right near a waterfall.
And he's sleeping on rocks in a stream.
Right. Because, he specifically notes, there were no mosquitoes there. Super practical.
His survival skills are just off the charts. The source says snakes were extra dishes.
But this is where it gets really clever. He doesn't just survive, he starts a business.
The shrimp.
The shrimp. He discovers that the moonlight, it reflects directly off their eyes.
Like little river headlights.
Exactly. So he takes his mosquito net, the one he needs to survive, and he's catching over 10 pounds of them a night sometimes.
And selling them to the local general store.
Yep. That's how he paid for his wine, his cigarettes, and toast. A moonlight-powered shrimp operation.
So he's done it. He's built this perfect fortress against the chaos of his daily life, but then something else breaks through.
Something completely inexplicable. He's painting, and the room just fills with this golden searchlight light.
Yeah.
And he turns around, and there are 12 figures, about 7 feet tall, radiating golden light, wearing ancient clothes.
12 of them.
12. And they're not alone. They have an escort, Zhong Kui.
The ghost queller.
Yeah.
The famous protector from the underworld. So this is an official delegation.
It absolutely is. Zhong Kui introduces them as Spirit High Ones, or Underworld executors.
And they're there for him.
They are. They say they've been sent by the spiritual court, the Yin Fu, to give him a book mission, a very high-stakes mission.
And what does he do? This guy who sleeps on rocks and hunts snakes for food?
He turns them down, flat.
But
told them he didn't have the education, didn't have the time. He literally says to them, please find someone else, to these 7-foot-tall golden beings.
Yeah, that is just, I can't wrap my head around that. This super practical guy just says no thanks to a divine invitation.
And it wasn't his only encounter either. He'd see other strange things, men in old Japanese military uniforms, these floating green lights.
Green lights, right. Didn't he hit one with his fishing rod?
He did. He smacked it, and it instantly turned into a black dog the size of a calf and just fled.
And he thought it was.
An escaped animal spirit route. Just another day in the wilderness for him, apparently.
So he finally goes back home after nearly half a year.
Only when his wife had finally resolved the family and relative issues. And he comes back and creates the artwork, A Coroner of Inner Shuangqi.
So it's this incredible story. He solves the physical crisis, the domestic chaos, by building these extreme literal boundaries.
But then he's faced with this chaotic spiritual invasion that he has absolutely no framework to handle.
And if we pull back, the sources say this is what really threw his life into chaos later on.
Completely. After these encounters, he lost the ability to distinguish between, positive and evil spiritual forces. The moment the supernatural validated itself, his practical judgment just failed him.
Which brings us to a final thought for you. Here's a man who so pragmatically managed his survival. I mean, he figured out how to turn shrimp eyes into cigarette money.
Right.
So what stands out to you about his decision to initially refuse that book mission from Zhong Kui and the Golden Executors? It really seems the chaos of the supernatural world was, for him, a far more disruptive threat than the chaos of daily life. Something to dive deep on.